Hey, my lovelies. Welcome to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Daily Vibration. But I want to say, most importantly, thank you for checking in and tuning into yourself today. So happy Thursday to you. It is ruled by Jupiter. So it's a day of expansion, and we just had that full moon happen in Sagittarius, which is also ruled by Jupiter, right? So we got a lot of Jupiter energy in the atmosphere going on, right? The moon is still currently positioned in Sagittarius, right? And Jupiter is currently positioned in Pisces, and it's also co-ruler of Pisces too. So it's kind of at home, kind of in a way, right? So we have the sun still currently positioned in Gemini, so that's the third house energy, and this is the energy about communication, right? So we also have Mercury, which is about to go into retrograde, my loves, at the end of the month. So you can see and feel already things are a little bit wonky with communication. So don't beat yourself up as you're moving throughout this energy with the retrograde. You want to keep in mind with the retrograde energy, however, that it is a time for you to reflect. Go within, figure it out from within. This is not a time for you to be too external, okay? So, my loves, guess what? It's day number 60. We got 40 more days left on our level up journey. We have been doing this for, guess what now, 60 days. That's a commitment. That's yeah, we did that, right? We've been doing it for 60 days now. And today the questions that we are going to be asking ourselves as we're moving through this energy is ego and spirit. Can ego and spirit work together? Should ego and spirit be working together, or should one of them be more dominant than the next, right? Now, this is how I'm going to phrase it to you, my love, okay? So we live in a dual universe, okay? Now, when I say dual universe, we're talking about the energy principles here, right? So when I'm talking about duality, I am talking about the masculine and the feminine principle, okay? So everything has a dual side. Everything has a masculine charge, which is a positive charge, and everything has a negative charge, which is a feminine charge. Now, it doesn't mean like, men are positive and women are negative. That's not what it means. It means that the positive charge is the spark, the intention, right? The creation that, hence may go forth, right? And then if you can think about the negative charge of the woman, that will be considered the womb, the void, the darkness, where things are cultivated, where things grow, where things are nurtured, okay? This is how you need to look at this energy. So everything in the universe, my loves, and I'm talking about the universe in the heavens and in the stars, but also the universe that dwells within you, okay, has a masculine and a feminine principle. All right. Now, if you can grasp your head around that, right, then you don't really get caught up so much in the physical aspects. You really begin to understand everything as a whole on a metaphysical aspect, or operating from the unseen realm, because that's really the realm from where things exist, right, or come from, right? So now we got ego, which would really be like the spark, the intention, right? And if you can look at it, you can also say the ego will be like, if we're talking about astrology per se, the ego would be like a representation of the sun, right? What's out there, what's being seen, right? And sometimes if you allow the ego to be in the driver's seat without reining it in and balancing out your ego, what you're going to find is that you're living too much in the physical realm, and there's not enough balance from the spiritual realm. Now, it can also be like a flip side, right? Where you're too much in the spiritual realm and you're not really dealing with the physical shit. I can tell you that because I've done that in the past. I'll just be up in the clouds of the heavens and studying and getting all of this knowledge, and then I look around and like, oh my gosh, what's going on in the world? Because I literally can plug myself out, right? And that is not always the best thing to do. Because sometimes you need to be present for what's going on in the physical world, and then come back into the spiritual world and balance it out there, right? So what I was finding was I was sitting too much in my I was sitting more so too much in my feminine aspect, right? That negative charge, that void, that cultivation aspect, right? Where everything dwells, and not enough time in the physical aspect, where all of those things are being pressed out into manifestation, right? So if you really sit and think about it, you're really not supposed to destroy your ego. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to balance your ego, because your ego is needed in this dimension. Okay, so your ego is needed. You just should not allow your ego to take reign. You can look at your ego as a masculine principle. And sometimes, we call it that machismo thing, when you have too much masculine energy, like everything is very logical. There's no love, there's just hardness, there's just harshness, there's no passion to things, right? It's just very strategic, very get this done, must be done this way, there's very low tolerance for anything sensitive and soft to come in when you're dealing with too much masculine energy. Okay, so yeah, and let's just be for real, because masculine energy can also be all about itself. I'm not to say that feminine energy can't get there also, right? But the feminine energy, or the feminine aspect, is known for more so the nurturing aspect, right? And the masculine aspect, yeah, like sometimes that energy can be a little harsh. Okay, so even when we're looking at ones and zeros, right, because today's ruling number is the number 1, right? That will be the intention, the spark energy, right? That would also be masculine energy. The number 1 is related to masculine energy, right? And you can find that the number 0 is more so relating to the feminine energy, that circle, that void where things are cultivated, right? So I've been studying this stuff for a really long time, guys. A really long time. And sometimes you may feel a little timid. You may feel a little insecure. You may feel like you don't have enough of what it takes, right? And then your ego can stop in, and your ego can support you in that area and give you the confidence to step out into the light, right? And be able for you to conquer whatever it is you set forth with a little balance from spirit, right? So we're talking about being able to balance both sides of yourself, being able to balance your masculine and your feminine side, being able to balance your logical and your spiritual side, right? Being able to balance you, right? Because you are a dual energetic being, which means that you have both traits dwelling inside of you. And the beautiful thing about where we are now, it's in Aquarian energy, is everybody's starting to wake up to that. Well, maybe not everybody, but people are really starting to wake up to the different aspects of themselves, right? Now, one of the things that I tell you guys constantly, right, is that you are not just responsible for mastering your sun sign, right? You are also responsible for mastering all 12 aspects of the zodiac wheel, because all 12 aspects of the zodiac wheel are aspects of yourself. Okay, they're aspect of man in totality. Okay, so we're going to go through your wisdoms today and see exactly what's happening and what the wise oracle cards have to say per element today. We are going to start off with the wonderful Gemini element of the ear, right? So now, if you are not a Gemini, if you are not a Libra, if you are not an Aquarius, you can definitely tap into the ear element through your spiritual and your mental thinking, okay? So for Gemini's energy, you can tap into the aspect of yourself, the I think versus I don't think, right? Libra, you can tap into balancing versus unbalanced energy, right? Aquarius energy, you can tap into what you know versus what you don't know, right? Now, keeping in mind the ear signature, when we're dealing with the tarot, we're referring to your mental and your spiritual thinking, and this is where you can apply that message if you are not an ear sign, okay? So you got two beautiful cards coming out today. You have water coming from the Mystic Shaman Oracle deck, and you have Trapped. Now, when this water card pops up, it's really telling you to take a look at your emotions, right? Take a look at how you're perceiving things and maybe get out of your emotions and step in, right, to yourself so you can see exactly why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and also step in to see maybe how you may be contributing, right, to some of the things that are happening in your life. It's asking you to balance your emotions today, which is really good because we got that triple twos in the date, right? And that's that hypersensitive energy, and it can also cause imbalanced emotions or emotional overload, okay? So Water and trapped is showing up from the moon deck, right? Some people may feel emotionally trapped today. You may feel like a bird in a cage, like you're not able to speak your truth. You're not able to really express how you feel. And that could be for a myriad of reasons, right? From you don't want to rock the boat to you feel unheard, So you want to be mindful as you're moving throughout the day to check in with your emotions before you react and respond to things today. Keeping in mind, we're still experiencing that eclipse energy that's bringing things into light, that's still asking you to focus, right? To focus on exactly what you want. To be honest, maybe about where you have toxic things going on in your life, as well as to be honest about what you need to do to change things for yourself, not so much for other people. Okay, so now we're going to jump on over to the wonderful water element, and the water element is going to represent your emotions, your feelings. Okay, now if you were not a water sign, you can apply this element once again to your emotions or your feelings. Okay, and water energy is going to be Cancer's energy, is also going to be Scorpio's energy, and then Pisces. All right, so you can tap into how you feel or how you don't feel within this energy. You can tap into what you desire versus what you don't desire, okay? Because that's going to bring about that transformation with that Scorpion energy. And then you can tap into what you understand versus what you don't understand, right? That would be the Pisces energy, because that has to bring in an aspect of you being able to serve, right? Or you're going to have to make some sacrifices, right? Service or sacrifice. Now, the energy that's popping up today is the medicine wheel, and it is paired with success. Now, when the medicine wheel shows up from this deck, it is a representation, my loves, of you being able to take a look at your past, your present, your future, right? And where you are right now. And where you want to go, right? So now, you have an aspect to really see within this energy if you're spending too much time in your past, if you're spending too much time in the future, right? If you're not spending enough time in your present, and then really thinking about the changes that you need to make within all of this energy, right? It's giving you an opportunity to let you know that depending on how long you, the individual, wants to stay in a particular time frame or situation is up to you. Whenever you're ready for things to change, this card is an indicator that you are the one that's going to have to just acknowledge that change is needed for it to happen. And the minute that you acknowledge that this change is needed, my lovely, lovely water signs, so if you're tapping into the water energy, right, the minute that you allow yourself, right, to embrace that energy, you will begin to see the success coming forth. A lot of people are going to have to be tested on their emotional maturity as we're moving throughout this energy, right? Which means that some people may not get a chance to have temper tantrums. Okay, so be mindful of that as you're moving throughout the energy. All right, now we're going to jump on down to the wonderful fire energy, or the fire element. If you are not a fire sign, you can apply this energy to your intuitive nature, but it's also going to require movement or some type of action. Okay, now fire energy is a representation, my love, of the wonderful Aries, which you can tap into the I am energy. If you are not an Aries, that's how you would use that archetype, right? I am versus I am not. Okay, now whatever you say I am, so it is. Okay, whatever you say I'm not, so it's not, right? Then you can tap into the Leo archetype using your will. Okay, I will versus I will not. All right, then you can hop on over to the Sagittarius aspect. If you are not a Sagittarius, you will be using this energy as I perceive or I perceive not. All right, now the message today for the wonderful fire elements is the Crow card popping up with confidence, right? Now, let me just say, whenever this Crow card pops up, it is telling you that it's time for you to step into your truth. Are you being true and honest? It really beckons you to tell yourself the truth and to tell others the truth too. So the Crow is showing up and asking you, are you being honest? Are you being truthful? Are you being truthful and putting forward exactly what your passions are, what your joys are? Are you being truthful and not settling for something that you don't really want, right? This card is asking you, are you being truthful? And if you're not being truthful, it's asking you to step out into confidence, and start to be honest. But if you are being honest, it's saying this confidence is going to grow and expand. All right. So fire energy. Your perception today, as you are looking at things and reevaluating things, you want to ask yourself that question. Are you being truthful? Okay. Now, and if you are, you can walk with more confidence. If you're not, your confidence is not going to be able to grow until you actually start to tell the truth to yourself and to other people also. Okay. All right, my loves. Last but not least, we have the wonderful air element. Now, if you are not an air sign, you can apply this message to the physical realm. The things that you need to do, the things that you need to accomplish, the bills, the house, the car, all of those things in the physical realm that you may have to take action towards. Okay. Now, I want to say this, that energy dwells within Taurus, Capricorn, as well as the wonderful Virgo. If you are not a Taurus, you can tap into the I have energy versus I have not. If you are not a Capricorn, you will use this archetype as I use or I use not. What are you utilizing and how are you utilizing it? And that's what Capricorn's energy looks at, okay? And then you got Virgo. You can tap into the Virgo's energy by your analytical senses. I analyze versus I analyze not. And your message today is the Time Master paired with the Strength card, okay? Now, when the Time Master shows up, the Time Master shows up to let you know that it is time for you to move forward. And you are only stuck where you are because you have not given yourself permission to move forward. This card lets you know also that time as we know it in the human physical realm is not really the way time works, right? We see time as really linear and straight, right? But time ebbs and it flows and it bends and it flexes, right? So within this energy, the Time Master is saying to you, what timeline are you living in? Are you still stuck in a timeline that you no longer vibrate or correspond with, but you're still holding yourself there, right? It's asking you to gain the strength to make some changes from within so you can move out and move into your new timeline. You can't really bring the old shit with you from the past this time around and think that it's not going to affect your journey, because it is, all right? So the Time Master is asking you to step in to your power and know that you are co-creator and you do not have to stay stuck in the past. You do not have to stay too far in the future. You can be present right now, here and now. Okay? All right, my loves. We also had a jumping card, right? And the jumping card, and I kept it, was chaos. And I kind of feel like right now, a lot of people within this energy, if you are not being honest with yourself, if you're not even practicing integrity, you could see a lot of chaos unfolding within the next couple of months, because you have people that may be running, or you have people that may be making choices based on things, situations, and circumstances outside of themselves, which means that you're allowing the outer world to affect your decision-making process, right? One of the things that I sat and talked to you about in the beginning was allowing your spirit and your ego to work together, right? Which means that you can't stay too stuck up in the spiritual world and not come out to handle your earthly things, right? And you can't be so earthly that you're not listening to what spirit has to say. There has to be a balance within your masculine and your feminine energy, which means that your masculine energy, your logical energy, the planning aspect, the actions you're in, and then the balance of the feminine, nurturing that, giving love, affirming all of that wonderful success, really being able to tap into the softer side of you by trusting your intuition and your spirit as it guides you towards whatever journey you're on. Okay? All right. Don't forget, all right, you cannot be happy and sad at the same time. You're going to have to choose one of them, my loves. You are able to jump in and out of dimension all day, every day, right? Through your mind, your state of mind. So guess what? If you're sitting in some anxious energy, guess what? And you hop on over and you start to get joyful, you've jumped dimensions. You're now in a different space. You jumped. Okay? So you can't be happy and sad at the same time. You're going to have to choose one, my loves. And then I also want to remind you to do something kind for yourself. Love yourself. Honor yourself. All right? And last but not least, don't be afraid of the dark. Okay? Because out of darkness comes enlightenment. And I'm going to see you guys in tomorrow's daily vibration. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday, my loves. Bye, guys.